Hey there, folks. I'm Charlotte, the Gulf Coast Granny, and I'm running a little bit behind today. I'm sorry about that. I had some things to take care of, and it took me a little longer than I thought. So here we are. I'm live. Hope you're here. Let me turn on my computer so I can see the chat better. Look, getting old ain't for sissies. I cannot see the chat on my phone, so I have to turn on my computer and go on to my YouTube page so I can see the stinking chat. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, we didn't want that, did we? Hey, Rolfus, how are you doing tonight? It's good to see you. Bone Tired Travelers, hey there. I'm glad you are. I appreciate it. What the devil just happened? I lost. There we go. I lost my lighting. How's everybody doing? What have you bloody Migra's been up to now? No kidding. Look, I've been on vacation. I didn't know what the heck was going on in the world. Hey, Terry. And apparently, I just talked to my daughter. That's what I was doing that made me a little bit late, because I asked her. We got home a couple of hours ago, and I was on YouTube while we were driving home from vacation. We had to drive 9 hours from Florida this morning. And I was on YouTube the whole time and didn't see anything about the craziness going on in the politics today. And I got home and I was putting things away and putting things in the wash and all that stuff. So then I sat down to take a breath, and I opened up my computer and I saw where all that, what is going on? This is crazy. My phone's acting stupid. Anyhow, I saw where all that shenanigans had happened, with the assassination attempt, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, what the devil happened while I was out? What? These things happen way too fast. I'm tangled in my cord. And it's such a shame, it's I don't even have words, Rolfus. I don't have words. I don't know what's going on with people. People are going crazy over this election. I don't know why it has to be a life and death situation. Politics in this country, does it affect us? Yes, of course it does. But not so much that it has to be a life or death situation. And I don't know what people are doing. I just can't figure it out. I feel so terrible for the people who were hurt and killed in this thing. And apparently Trump missed it by about that much. And that's a shame too. Look, y'all, I'm not a fan of either one of the candidates that are going to be voted on this time around. But nobody deserves that kind of mess in their life. Nobody. I don't care. Well, there may be a couple of people, but not politicians, Anyhow, oh my gosh, it has. See, I was in Florida, Bone Tired, for the whole week last week, and I was so surprised at how cool it was. The weather was amazing. Now, there were some warm days, but there was a breeze the whole time. And, here where I live on the coast, there's not a breeze, hardly ever, unless there's a hurricane coming. Hey, Lisa, it's good to see you. So that's really the only time we get any break from the sweltering heat is whenever there's a hurricane coming. And usually it's after the hurricane's done come. So I was really in shock that our weather was so good there. And then I got back here today and I'm like, good grief. I didn't realize that there was such a difference. Because, Florida's hot too. All the South is hot. But Mississippi takes the cake. It definitely takes the cake. I'm going to have to do this all night long, and that's going to irritate me to death. My screen is trying to, how on your phone, you've got the screensaver thing, and it'll go black to save your battery. That's what it's doing, and I don't know how to fix it. So if any of you know how to fix it, please let me know, because I really don't. Um, yeah, Madwood, it is okay. And then I find out tonight, right after I find out about the Trump thing, my son's been fired from his job. God love him. He started about a month ago. No, the devil didn't get his way today, did it? Thank the Lord. Truly. Well, I guess just because one target wasn't hit, doesn't mean that the other people that were hit are any less important. And I know I don't have to say that, but I feel like I should. I don't even have words, really. I don't. First in the air, like a great fist in the air. Yeah, he did do that now. I saw that. I have not watched the video, honestly. I just got all this basically secondhand. I glimpsed at what was on YouTube, and I closed it up, and I called my daughter, because she watches the news all the time, and I'm like, tell me what happened. So I got the Reader's Digest version. I didn't see everything. God bless the poor. Exactly. And the one, isn't there one in the hospital too, who was who was injured as well? And now I don't know. Look, I just need to know how much of Trump's ear is still left on his head. That's terrible. I shouldn't say that. But that was kind of a thought I had. I'm a little bit morbid. But sometimes if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry anyway. So yeah, I haven't heard much about that individual, and my daughter didn't know much about it either. So maybe they're just kind of keeping that quiet for now. Maybe they're just trying to save him for now. Who knows? But I hope they do. I hope they do save him. But now we've got two people dead, an innocent bystander and a crazy person. So it's pretty insane, right? Oh, I got to do something. I completely forgot to send Grumpus a link. I'm such a ding-a-ling today. Look, it's been crazy. So here's how I found out my son got fired. You want to hear this story? My daughter already knew about it because she was here working all week. My other daughter, who's older than the 19-year-old is a waitress, and the 38-year-old is the bar manager, or the front of the house manager, basically. And the 19-year-old came home and from doing something with one of her friends, and she said, "Hey, Mom, I got something to tell you." And she said, "No, wait a minute." She says, "I want Murphy to come out here." And so she called Murphy out. He was playing his game on his, his video games. And so she told him to look at his schedule. Well, he did, and he didn't understand. Whoa, what? Sorry, guys. That was crazy. Looked like the Blair Witch Project, don't it? Anyhow, so she tells him check his schedule, and his name wasn't on the schedule. Well, he didn't understand what was going on. And finally, I looked at her and I said, "Are they firing him?" And she kind of looked down and did a little thing like this, like. So I said, "Well, what happened?" And she told me that the owner of the place didn't want to tell him. He was just going to write him off the schedule so he could figure it out. I said, "Oh, no. So tomorrow I have to make a phone call. And I'm going to make a phone call. And I'm going to tell this grown man what a piece of crap he is for doing that to a 15-year-old boy. There was nothing wrong with this man calling him the minute he decided he didn't want him to work for him anymore and say, 'Hey, things aren't working out. We don't need you anymore.' And that would have been perfectly fine. I'm not mad because he was fired. I know how my boy works. And I was afraid this was going to happen because I know how my boy works. He gets distracted. He can't keep his mind on what he's doing. And he's only 15. He didn't have no business having a job anyway, but I thought I would let him try. Well, it just didn't work. But anyhow, I think it was pretty crappy the way that all of that went down, and I got to say something to somebody about it, right? So why not go to the source? And I feel like this angle is really bad. Sorry. So what do y'all think? Do you think I should call, or do you think I should just let it go? And because I got 2 other kids working there. Now, mind you, they're grown and they can take care of themselves. But I figured this minor child that I allowed to go do something, he didn't deserve that. Or am I just being an overprotective mom? You know, I don't know yet. But I'm thinking on it. I'm thinking on it. Let's see. I've got to messages. I got a message. There we go. And hopefully Grumpus will be here shortly. That's my hope anyway. There you are. I just sent you a link on Instagram, Grumpus. I'm sorry. I was a little bit frazzled this afternoon or this evening, having to do a bunch of things at once and thinking about a bunch of things at once and bleh. But so yeah, you think I'm being overprotective? All right, come up here and say that to my face. Well, you know, if I do call up there, I'm bound to get a little bit out of control because I tend to do that occasionally, especially when it's your kids. But I also have to remember I have 2 other kids that work there and probably going to get some backlash if I do show my behind. And I'm liable to do that. Really, I'm liable to do that. I don't want to. We'll see. Okay, no guest yet. Y'all got to tell me how to keep this stupid screensaver from coming on every couple of seconds. I mean, it's doing it like every minute or so, and I'm not sure how to fix it. Dang it. Okay, tell me if you can still see me, because I'm going to go into my settings and try to fix this once I go back to StreamYard so I can read your comments. Okay, let's see. Well, it's not going to let me do that right now. Interesting. Well, I guess I'll deal with it. I could use my other camera, but I don't like doing that because it's a terrible picture. Look what I got, y'all. I got beaver nuggets from Buc-ee's. These things are so delicious. I love them. Love, love, love them. And every time we go on any kind of trip past Alabama, I have to stop and get 2 or 3 bags of them. I'm going to, this is making me crazy. Okay, I'm going to put my other self up here. I got 2 selves. See? Look. Okay. Grumpus, help me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on.
Is there an echo?
Probably. Okay. Audio. Turn mic, speaker. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me?
I hear you great.
You can't hear me. Great. Audio,
I hear you.
internal mic, speaker.
Lisa's still an echo on my side.
Talk to me, Grumpy.
Here I am.
Is it-
Do I have an echo on my end? All right, thank you, Lisa.
I'm going to go out and come back in.
I hear you now. Rolfus, how's my volume? Am I overdriving? I'm still playing with this stupid box I bought. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Rolfus. I bought this fancy sound box, and it's a lot smarter than me. So we've been fussing with it for months. I'm doing good, Lisa. How about yourself? I must have ticked Charlotte off already.
To stage. Can you hear me?
I hear you just fine. I'm assuming you heard me?
I hear you just fine. I'm so sorry, y'all.
This
I'm
fancy
having
sound box
technical
is still smarter than me.
It wasn't you. It was totally me, Grumpus. That was not you at all. My phone, the screensaver keeps coming on while I'm doing the live stream on my phone.
Oh,
And so
okay.
it's going black, and I have to keep touching it every like 60 seconds. And that's never happened before, and I don't know what I did to make that happen.
Is that
But
an
I'm
Android?
Yeah. Mhm.
It may have done an update and reset your settings. You may have to go in there and either disable that or put it out there
Okay.
for a few hours so it doesn't come on.
Right. That makes good sense. I'm just gonna take it off of there and get out of there because that's annoying. And I don't know where I would go in my settings to do that. Do you?
Let me see here.
Connected devices, apps, notifications, storage, sound, vibration, display. Maybe. Accessibility, location, safety, emergency, passwords, blah, digital. Screen no, not that. Oh well. I'll figure it out.
Go into display,
Oh, okay.
and you should be able to scroll down to
Screen timeout.
screen
Bingo.
timeout.
Okay, so I'm gonna say never.
What was it set on?
It's set on 1 minute.
That's it.
That's it. Prevents your screen from turning off if you're looking at it. Oh well.
Okay, if you touch it, just make sure none of the buttons are pushed. Should go 15, 30, 1 minute, 2 minute.
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to shut them off.
Well, let's see what happens here. Because I really like using my phone a lot better than using this terrible computer. I don't know why it matters, really, to be honest, but it does to me. So I was just telling everybody today about the crazy events that happened all day today.
Yeah.
And cannot believe that our political system is so screwed up that people are doing crazy things.
Whoa.
Violet's in the background. She's going, 12 shots, 12.
I counted.
She counted them.
Because literally, I was sitting there watching it when it happened.
Okay, come here, hon.
Okay.
Come here.
So I'm not super humongous when it comes to politics, but like I am interested because I have to vote with this next election.
Her first time.
Yeah. And I was sitting there watching the rally today with my friend, and I was just sitting there 8 minutes in, and there are shots. I was kind of baffled, but when I was watching it, he goes down. Like he's like blood is pouring out of his face. You can see the blood like pouring from his ear, right? And so I'm like, what? Can I say bad words?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the heck? So like,
it rhymes with heck, maybe.
Maybe. I was literally, me and my friend were like screaming. We were like, oh my God, what is going on? So we keep watching. Like I'm like, hello. So we're watching this, and we hear more shots.
Funny, baby.
Like I mean, I know it's not funny, but like, it's just how I talk about it. So we're watching, and these shots are going off like even after man down, right? So I ended up rewatching the video because it was a live stream, so like you can go back. And I went back. I ended up counting 12 gunshots, and later to find out, not even 45 minutes later, we find out that a person died. There were like 3 people in the hospital. There was a live interview where this man went to go and like save one of the guys. He ended up passing away, unfortunately. But there was blood from this man like all over his shirt. Brain matter had gotten everywhere. And I called my sister, and she took a screenshot of it because she ended up watching it too because she's bigger into politics. She screenshotted it, and I was like, this picture is going to go down in history books. After he gets shot, he stands up at that podium, and he says, God bless America. The whole crowd starts chanting USA. Like, this is going to go down in history. And I watched that live, and I was kind of like, whoa.
You got a story to tell your kids.
Yes,
I know.
You do.
But I was just like, that's insane.
And I think Grumpus has a similar story, because weren't you alive when Kennedy was killed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where were you?
I was in 5th grade.
See there?
5th grade?
I was in 5th grade in class, and they announced it over the loudspeaker.
Oh, my goodness.
And back
I
then,
think-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And my teacher at the time had the good sense to have all of us made scrapbooks of all of the events that happened, all the newspaper stuff, and I've still got mine here somewheres.
Oh, wow, Grumpus, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But, and when 9/11 happened, you weren't even born yet.
I mean, I haven't been alive for a lot of like major historical events other than COVID, but like when I
The year that shall remain nameless,
literally,
right?
right? But like that's was my only like huge big thing that shocked the world. But now there's this, and it happened around 5:30. Like, what time are we in? I don't know what time. Central time. And I was just I didn't even think that was gonna happen. I usually am not a big political person. I don't read into it, but I was today. And when I saw that, I was just like, "That's insane."
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
right?
the very
like-
thing we're trying to change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but I thought it was so crazy that when he went down, not even seconds later, one of the special agents or secret agents went in and said, "Man down." And the minute he said that, I immediately knew, oh my gosh, the shooter is dead. And then I also realized that there are other people in this crowd getting hit and
Right.
dying, because there was a woman seconds later after the shot. Like, not many people were screaming. They were just more so like gasping, shocking. But this woman was screaming. Come to find out, the man next to her was the one who got shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I've been like reading. I don't usually go on Twitter, but I did go on Twitter for this, and I found it so wild. The first two on the trending page was Trump getting shot, and the second one underneath it, which I find is insane, was staged because people are theorizing, not even 12 hours later, that it was staged, and I find that so wild.
I don't. That's insane. Who would?
Well, these are the crazies that are losing their minds out there
Mhm.
that can't handle the truth,
Right.
and it doesn't take much truth to push them over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that was interesting.
Isn't it interesting to hear a young person's perspective, though?
It's interesting to hear a young person interested.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, pat mommy on the back right there. Thank you. I'm teasing. She is really smart enough on her own to be interested without any coddling from me or coaxing from me.
I believe she is.
Yeah, she is. She's quite a young lady. You know what? I during 9/11, I was working at a place in Chesapeake, Virginia called, you're not going to believe it, the Twin Towers. I was working for a mortgage company.
Wow, what a coincidence.
Yeah, and my husband was out to sea on a deployment, and it was kind of an interesting time. I'll never forget because I lived near 3 major military bases because that area of Virginia is just packed with military folks and airplanes and tanks and ships and you name it, it's got it. And after that happened, they shut down all air flights for days afterwards.
Right.
And I will never forget how eerie it sounded with none of the planes flying anywhere.
Yeah.
And that was
it's a very weird feeling. I'm in the flight path of Intercontinental.
Yep.
I've been here so long. I mean, if you watch any of my videos, there's planes going over.
Mhm,
But I've been
mhm.
here so long that I don't even notice them.
Right,
But
right.
on a foggy morning, I'll wake up because the planes are not going over.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it just seems
I'm
weird.
the same way with the train.
Yeah, it
So I
just
get
seems
that.
weird that there's no sound. I
Right,
don't notice it when it's there, but I notice it when it's not there.
right. Well, I noticed it then, and the sound. We were near an interstate. It was 264, the bypass that went around Norfolk, and the buildings that I worked in were right there, and the sound of the traffic going across the interstate without the airplanes flying was absolutely deafening. And I guess it's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain how eerie I felt.
Now, did you
Um,
watch all of it live when it happened?
oh
or-
yeah, yeah. Well, not the first one. I was sitting in my office, and one of the guys from an office across the hall walks in because he always did. They were both mortgage companies, and they were all buddy buddy and competitors as well. And he said, "Plane just hit the Twin Towers or the World Trade Center." That's what he said. And I said, "Get out of here." And in my head, I was thinking a small plane.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking when I first heard it.
That's happened before, right? And I think he came back a few minutes later and said, "Another one hit." And I said, "Oh, hell, that was no accident." That was the first words out of my mind. I remember
Yep.
that. And we turned a TV on. My boss went and got a TV, and that's all we did all day long for days. For days.
Yeah, I was on a bus on the way to work downtown,
Mm.
and somebody said that he had just heard the plane hit the tower, one of the towers. So when I got to work, we went up, found us a TV, and brought it down to the shop and had it turned
Mhm.
on. That's when we saw everything else open up live,
Right.
and they immediately let everybody know that anybody in our building wanted to go home could go,
Oh,
because we didn't know if this was nationwide or not.
right.
Houston is a pretty good hub to be hit for something
Yes.
like that. And right diagonal
Yes.
across the street, our building was 34 floors, and right across the street from us was the tallest building in Houston. And I think
Oh,
it's,
wow.
well, I know the observation deck is on like 62 or something like that.
No
And they were
kidding.
afraid somebody'd run into that building and knock it into us.
Well, sure, yeah, yeah.
So it was
You
it was
know,
a pretty weird
for
day.
whatever reason, I wasn't so afraid of that. Number one, we were not that many floors. The only reason they called it the Twin Towers where I worked was because they were identical buildings next to
Yeah,
each
yeah.
other. But they were maybe 10, 12 floors. And so I wasn't really afraid of that at all. Um,
I mean, we stayed. I mean, I was on maintenance, and we
yeah,
were essential personnel. We had to stay there.
right,
But a lot of
right,
them in the higher up floors and stuff were pretty shook up, so they just sent them home, or told them they
right.
could go home if they wanted.
I think the first really tragic political event I ever experienced was not me myself, but watched on TV or, was watching, period, was the Reagan assassination attempt. But I can't remember which one. Was it John Lennon that happened first or Reagan?
Oh gosh, don't I couldn't tell
I
you.
can't remember either. But those are the two I remember from when I was young. And then, of course, the Challenger blowing up.
I watched
That
that live.
happened.
I used to watch every liftoff, every
Oh
time.
God, I watched it out in my backyard.
Oh wow.
Um, well, my ex-husband, I had just had Erica. She was 3 weeks old. And he called me on the phone. He said, Charlotte, you're not going to believe this. The space shuttle blew up. I said, what? He said, go look out the back door. And you could see the
My goodness.
clouds. And I was just stunned, absolutely stunned, because I knew that was the one that they had the teacher on. And that was really sad to me. But, of course, I lived in Jacksonville, so it wasn't that far from the Cape. Not when you're that high in the air. You remember the Reagan attempt too. See, Lisa remembers that. He was stuck for 4 or 5 days. Oh, wait. I got to see what's going on here with Terry. I have an uncle that was a truck driver and was 10 blocks from the tower. Are you kidding me? He was stuck there for 4 or 5 days. I bet he was, covered in dust. You believe John Lennon was first and then shortly after was Reagan. That's what I think too. So it was neat seeing all the naval ships leave the harbor. I'm sure it was. Oh, isn't that the most beautiful sight in the world, Terry? To me, it is. Of course, I was a Navy wife for many, 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 many years. And to me, even though it was really sad to watch them leave, it was an extremely moving experience
Very
to watch
patriotic event.
carrier surrounded with men in uniform around the deck, and it's pulling out, and they're all standing at attention with their hands or standing at ease, really, but they had their hands behind their backs, and every single one of them had the white hats, and it was a moving thing to see. In person. It was kind of cool seeing them come home too, same way. They would come home, you'd see that boat pull in, and all those sailors would be around the top of the ship, and then you
Man, they're
knew,
standing
like,
there a long time.
yeah, boy, they've been there a while. John Lennon was 1980, the same year as the St. Helens. I remember that as well. Yeah, that was a crazy thing, wasn't it?
Well, we're really dating ourselves here, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I thought it was really an interesting thing that she said that this was the first thing that she had witnessed like this,
Well,
something
yeah.
that made history other than COVID. I thought that was really interesting. And I almost said, well, there's going to be a lot more, and that's sad.
Well, I'm just proud to hear she was watching it and paying attention.
She was.
She says she's going to get the vote this year, so she's trying to be informed.
Yeah.
That's good. She's not just getting all of her information off the internet.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, true. I'm gonna switch cameras now. Um, so I'm gonna. Oh crap! Can you hear me?
I hear you twice.
Now can you hear me one?
Say that again.
Can you hear me one?
Yeah, I just hear you once.
Okay, good. Let's see. Is it too soft?
I hear you fine.
Okay.
We'll let the chat decide if it's loud enough.
Okay.
It sounds fine to me.
I might need to turn it on my speakerphone.
Am I
No,
loud
it is.
enough for you? Am I?
Yeah, you could go up a little bit.
All right, let's see that. Maybe I just need to get closer and stop mumbling. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah,
All right.
definitely. And
Here's DJ.
do you know what I need? I need some good lighting because this is terrible. And oh my butt. What did you say the other day that kept, oh, the dark screen, and I
The
didn't
dark
do
screen.
that. Booger. I didn't do that. So
Well, if you like, I can send you a link to these lights that I bought. I love them, and they weren't
if
that
you
expensive.
would, I would really appreciate it because I'm in the market.
Because it like
And
this
that was
last,
one thing I told Wesley recently. I said, I want to really invest in some better lighting. I think my audio is decent enough.
Yeah, it
I mean,
sounds
it's
pretty
not
good.
rumpus quality, but I do think it's decent enough.
Well, this center light I've got on me, if you see it, I don't have a lot of reflection in my glasses because I got it up high.
Okay,
But
well maybe I should.
you can see the difference,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it's only 5%.
Oh wow, that's it.
That's 5%,
Huh.
and you can color it, warm it up if you need to, but they're not
Mhm.
they're decent little lights.
I like that. Oh goodness. Okay, that's all I got.
It's
Oh,
it's not as reflective as it was.
Oh, good, good.
You must have moved it.
I moved it this way
Yeah,
to my right.
yeah.
And
It's
I
not
made it
reflecting
higher.
back in the camera now.
It's higher than it was. Good evening, DJ. It's very good to see you this evening. So, you said you had a lot to talk about. So,
I was just going to tell you about the hurricane.
yeah, tell us.
Our
Tell us.
little barrel blew through. No, it blew through. We lost power Sunday morning at 6:11 a.m.
Yeah.
And I didn't get power back until 7:35 last night.
Holy Toledo.
It has been a rough week and a hot week.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Good grief.
Let me see here. Let me find something. I had a cover on my deck.
Yeah. Oh, dear God.
That's what's left of it.
Oh, no. Now, what kind of cover was it?
It was pretty limp cover. It was just it was a cover that I had bought at Academy, and I put a tarp over it when it wore out.
Right.
But that thing just mangled.
Well, yeah. Are you going to build a different one, or just go back and get the same thing and stick it up there?
I've been planning to build a more permanent structure for quite a while. I just hadn't done it because this thing was working. So I may be forced to play my hand. And I also lost one of my buildings at work. I had, a building I store all my lumber in.
Right.
I went to check on it Tuesday, or check the property Tuesday, because we still don't have power over there, even today. But no, the wind got under that building and just lifted it up, flopped it over in the neighbor's yard. So we've been all week moving lumber around, trying to tear that thing apart and get it over here where it belongs.
Right.
Yeah, it's a total loss.
Rumpus, I'm still having a little bit of trouble hearing you, and I've got my speakerphone on as loud as it'll go.
I'm too low.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let me try.
I was
does-
wondering
does-
about. Oh,
does
DJ said I was wondering about you, Grumpus, because I knew Devil Dog lost his power twice this week. No, when I saw where that hurricane was headed, I knew it was about over your driveway.
Yep. Is this any better? It's still no better.
Not for me.
How
I don't know
that?
about everybody else, but I'm having a really hard time over here.
Is this any better? No.
Not really.
I'm just
It's the
pushing knobs
volume.
here. Is this any better?
No.
All right, I got one more trick. Is that any better?
If it is, it's minute.
All right, what about that?
That is a little better.
Is it tolerable, or do I need to keep moving?
I think you need to keep moving. Am I
All
just
right.
getting old and deaf?
How's this?
Better.
Can we live with that?
Keep talking.
Can we live with that?
A little bit more.
How's that?
Going. Sing your ABCs.
1, 2, 3, testing. Is this it?
Yeah, that'll do for now.
Is this thing on?
I don't know why I've been having so many technical issues. What do you mean, yes, Charlotte? You mean yes that it's just me?
This damn box that I bought, I still cannot figure it out.
Really?
I mean, these things usually don't stump me, but this one here has got so much stuff going in and out, I can't figure out which way it's going.
Right. That makes sense. See, now you know how I feel every time I turn on a device.
Yeah, what I should have is figured out by now.
Well, one would think, but it's okay. You're not that. You haven't had it for that long.
I bought it. I've had it since I don't know, January.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I'm about to hit a factory reset and just start all over.
That might be a good idea. Yeah, I saw that, Lisa. Richard Simmons and Dr. Ruth died today as well.
I'll be darned.
Yeah. Poor Richard Simmons.
Now, was he sick?
I don't know. I
I
just
don't know either.
always
I hadn't
kind
heard
of
from-
felt
I
sorry
haven't heard
for
from
him.
him in a long time.
Yeah. I thought he was just a sad soul. He seemed like he was always so happy on his shows and when
Yeah.
he talked to other folks, which was nice, but it was almost like he was doing that to
Kind of appeared he
hide.
was battling some demons.
yeah, thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunate.
Well, DJ, how
But-
does this sound? Am I overdriving it? Because it sounds
Yeah,
like it in
DJ,
my
you're
ears.
better than I am at this. I'm gonna get some tea, guys. I'll be right
All
back.
right. I feel like I'm distorting. So yeah, the hurricane blew through it. They said it was just a one, but boy, it was a strong one.
You want it?
All right, thanks, DJ. Is there anybody else in the chat got affected by the hurricane?
So I ate my way through Brooksville, Florida today. Oh my goodness, look at that.
That's my building at the shop.
at the shop.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's not protecting any wood today, is it?
See, all that lumber was
Yes, I
inside the
do.
building.
Yeah. Good grief.
So it's a mess.
What category did they say it was when it got to you?
They said it was a 1,
A 1.
but it was a
See,
strong
people
one.
are under the impression that anything below a 3 is a safe hurricane. But I got news for folks. No hurricane is a safe hurricane. And it's always wise to take precautions because, number 1, you're going to be without power. Number 2, there's probably going to be power lines down somewhere electrocuting folks if you're not careful.
Okay.
There's always going to be water somewhere. And
The house behind me, the next street over, behind me, over one house, so it's diagonal behind me. That house has been on the market, and they just closed on it on the 5th.
oh my, wait. Tilt it a little bit towards the screen.
That happened on the 6th or on the 7th.
Oh my God.
How bad does your luck have to be to lose your house 2 days after you close?
That is heartbreaking. Those poor people. Oh my gosh. Good grief, that's terrible. Nothing above a light breeze is safe. That's what DJ said.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. When I was in Brooksville last week in Florida, it was the most pleasant July weather I have ever experienced in Florida or Mississippi. I woke up one morning, the wind was blowing and it was 76 degrees. That is no lie. And I looked at I went inside because I had to run out to the car for something. And I went inside and I stopped by the front desk and I said, "This weather's not normal, right?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The wind is blowing and it's 76 degrees outside and I feel like I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be." He said, "No, it's really not normal, but we usually have the breeze." And I thought, good Lord, I might need to move.
Tom checked in on me, see how we were doing. I told him, I said, well, I don't have any power. I said, the house is 84 degrees, and marital tolerance is at an all-time low.
Oh, of course.
All it takes is one
Remember
look.
that
What do you
day,
mean by that?
those when we went through the, that will test a marriage, won't it?
Yes, absolutely
It
will.
darn sure will. Goodness. But I went to one of the best Mexican restaurants I've ever been to in my life last week.
In Florida?
Yep, it's called Chulas. Chulas. Chulas.
Say that again, one more time.
Chulas.
They had one of those here in Houston.
Really?
Used to be one of my old watering holes.
I'll be darned. Well, it was delicious, absolutely delicious. And then I went to last night's bar topped all of them. We went to a food truck called Simone's Soul Food and Barbecue. I had oxtail over some yellow rice with some collard greens, and I was in
oxtail.
absolute heaven. Absolute heaven. And where else did we eat? I'm trying to think of the local places, because that's what we tried to do. We tried to go to mostly places that were off the beaten path and not a chain restaurant.
That's what I always try to do.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, you know. But there was a place called Greek City, and it was a Greek restaurant, obviously. Delicious, just delicious, so good. And I would like to do that again one day. Go eat my weight down, and that's probably my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I like to go through the little small towns to the town squares
Mm-hmm.
and try to find a little cafe or coffee shop or something. Those are always the best places for breakfast to me.
And the more beat up the place is, the better it
Oh yeah,
tastes.
yeah.
There was a place in Key West years ago. I don't know if it's still there or not. Probably is. It was called Pepe's or Pepe's, whatever. But it wasn't a Mexican place. It was just food, good food. I had the meal that I had there was a grilled mahi with a black bean salad, and I forget what else, and unsweet tea. Now, I'm a Southerner. I don't drink unsweet tea. But that was some of the best tea I'd ever put in my mouth. I couldn't believe it. What are you fiddling with?
I'm trying to get this volume adjusted.
That's better, whatever you did.
Say what?
It's more clear, whatever you did.
Yeah, I think I was overdriving.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what that means, but
It means I was distorting through the microphone.
oh, I see. I see. So you think I'm being an overprotective mom? Did you hear the whole story?
I didn't hear the whole story, but
You think I should have him call?
I think he should make his own decision what he wants to do and fight his own battle,
Yeah,
because this could also affect the other two that work there.
that's what I'm afraid of. But I'm a little miffed at the older daughter who is the front of the house manager.
Well, the only thing I can do is give you a manager's point of view.
I don't
if I-
mind that they fired him, Grumpus.
if
That's
I
not
had
what I'm upset about.
Yeah, but if I had an employee that there was an issue, I definitely don't need to hear from his wife. I don't need to hear from his mama or his sister or even his big brother. He needs to. He's employed. He needs to
Yeah, but
stand on his own
the
two feet.
manager, you probably wouldn't hire two sisters and a brother to work in the same restaurant either.
Well, that's true too.
Right.
I mean, my boss has heard me interview people before, and in the area that I'm at, one of my standard questions is, who are you related to, and how are you going to get to work?
Right.
And my boss says, you can't ask that. I said, sure I can. I said, I don't need one flat tire to cost me 4 people in a day.
Oh, right. Right. Mm-hmm.
So, and if I have a discipline problem with somebody, I don't need,
You don't need him
I
ganging
don't
up.
need his uncle and 2 cousins to quit too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Well, and
that's
that's
just
the
that's just
thing.
my point of view as a man that
And I get
manages
that.
people.
I totally get that. Because if I were a manager, I would never hire relatives because of something like this.
yeah.
But he's not that smart.
Well, he'll get that smart though. If a couple of people walk all over him, he'll learn to fight his own battles. And
No,
sooner or
I don't
later,
mean Murphy,
sooner or
I
later
mean
he's
the
got to learn
manager.
to do that. Sooner or later, it might as well be when he's younger.
True.
He
I guess
don't
I'll just
need to
give
be
him
calling you.
options. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with me saying, Murphy, what happened to you was wrong, and you need to stand up and say it
That's
was wrong.
what he needs. That's what he needs. Let him make his own decisions.
Okay. But I'm really miffed at my oldest daughter, who's 38 years old and knew this was going on and didn't say to her boss, I can't let you treat my family members that way. You've got to call him and tell him.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
So I didn't hear the whole story. Did they just tell him don't come in no more or what?
No, they didn't tell him anything, Grumpus. They just wrote him off the schedule. He didn't have any hours this week.
Okay.
And Violet, who is not a manager, who is a waitress, told him that they had fired him. And it wasn't Violet's place to have to tell him that. But she didn't think it was fair
Yeah,
what they
that's
did.
true.
And so she told him. And I don't blame her for telling him. I would have told him too. But now, I think Murphy should call his boss and say, you know what? You should have told me yourself.
I think he should go in and see his boss
Mm.
and just say, did I do something wrong? Is my work not up to your standard? What could I have done different?
Mm-hmm.
And have a good conversation with him, even if he's pissed off. Just don't
Mm-hmm.
burn a bridge,
Well, and that's another thing, you know,
because this will help him on the next job.
right? And he knows what it is. He knows what the problem is. He's not fast enough for them. And he knows that. Murphy has a problem with staying focused and sticking to a project until it's all the way finished. And these are things that he needs to work on. And I've been telling him this for a couple of years. And like I told you, I am not upset that he lost his job.
Yeah.
Because if he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, then he deserved to lose his job.
Well, this may be just a thing that helps him
Improve.
realize he has to make some adjustments. He has to figure out how to stay focused, or figure out a way to be faster, or, I mean, that's a hard lesson to learn.
It is.
People expect.
Well, thank God he's learning it
results.
at 15 and not 25, though.
Exactly. You don't need it. You don't need him calling you when he's 30 saying, "Mom, you know what they did to me?" I've gone through that here.
Right.
I've got family members now that won't talk to us because a certain individual in his household had to get in their business and fight a 40-year-old man's battles.
I see what you're saying. So my talk should be with my son and nobody else.
Hey, for what it's worth, that's what I say.
Okay.
But I'm not going to tell you how to raise your babies.
No, I see where you're coming from, and there's a lot of merit to that. Teach him how to fight his own battles instead of me stepping in and doing it for him.
Yeah, it's just a different point of view.
Yeah.
For what it's worth.
Yeah. I think I'll talk to Wesley tomorrow and see where he would go with that. Because I think Wesley would tell me to back the hell off, too.
He's a very smart man.
But see, Lisa said she gets it because it's hard to watch, as you're a mom. And
that's your baby when he's
and
80.
he is my baby. And
He's
he's
still
still
gonna
a
be your
baby.
baby.
It's not like he's an adult who's,
My mama called her baby tonight, and we had a real nice conversation.
I get it. Yeah, it is tough. But I don't want him to make him think that every time he gets in trouble, I'm going to be there to pull him out.
Well, when do you stop doing that?
Hey,
He's going to think
that's the smarter
He's
thing
going
to
to
do.
think it as long as it's there.
Well, too, I tend to fly off the handle sometimes. And,
No,
and
say it
yeah.
isn't so.
And then I need somebody to pull me back down to reality. And then I can think with a clear head once I get all the steam off of me. Once the steam is lifted, then I can think with a clear head. But boy, while that steam's flowing out my ears, And it's a good thing I wasn't sitting in that restaurant when I learned about all this, because I would have made a fool of myself.
Yeah, you'd had 3 kids not working.
At least 2. I know that. And I tell you what, when Violet told him what was going on, she did it in front of me, my husband, Murphy, and one of her friends, right in the living room. And I called her out in the yard, and I told her, I said, what you just did in there was asinine. You should have discussed that with him privately and not tried to embarrass your brother like that. I said, and what? She goes, well, I didn't think about that. I said, well, then that was it.
Yeah.
I said, don't you ever throw your brother under the bus like that again. I said, I don't know what you were thinking. She goes, well, I guess I wasn't thinking. I said, oh, I can guarantee you weren't thinking. I said, your brother would never do that to you. Not in a million years. Because, I know both of them. And I was a little irritated with her for that. But she learned a lesson today, too.
They grow up so fast.
They do. And the lessons don't get any easier, do they?
No, apparently not.
They just get bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't like. I don't like being a parent of bigger kids, older kids. It's
Well,
hard.
once you lose their influence, I mean, it's kind of it's kind of wasted hot air at that point.
Yeah, you're right. You are right.
You can kind of nudge them a little bit and kind of keep them going in the right direction, but if they're hell bent on making the turn, you're not going to straighten them out.
Right. I'll tell you what. Today's just been kind of crazy. The ride here. Let me tell you what. First of all, they gave us a Chevy Malibu to drive when Wesley rented a car. They were supposed to give us a SUV / crossover type vehicle. Well, they didn't have any, so they threw this Chevy Malibu at him. Don't buy one. They're awful.
Kind of tight, wasn't it?
Well, yes. There were tools in the trunk. There was luggage in the trunk. Murphy was in the back seat, and he had leg room, but his head was kind of right on the thing, and he's not a tall kid. He's like 5'4". And the headrest was weird, and he had to take the headrest off, and then the dang thing rattled the whole way there. You could shut the door with one finger. It felt like a beer can on wheels, and it's a good sized vehicle. I mean, it's a sedan.
Yeah.
And you could hear the road noise so loud, and it was annoying. It was 9 hours of that. And the traffic was terrible last weekend because it was 4th of July weekend, and everybody was traveling to and from wherever. And I was a nervous wreck 3 hours into that trip. I told Wesley, I said, you got to pull over. I need to get somewhere and walk around because I'm a nervous wreck. And Wesley drives. Wesley doesn't know how to ease on the brake. If somebody slows down in front of him, he hits the brake. And it jerks. And I'm like, stop that. Stop what? Like 24 years, and you're going to tell me stop what? So that was an issue
Wesley.
all the way down there. Stop it. And then he likes to drive by Braille along the side of the road. Well, that makes me anxious because I'm afraid he's falling asleep and going off the side of the road. One of these days, I'm going to have a Lincoln Navigator or a Lincoln Nautilus, and I'm not going to feel all of that or hear all of that. I'm going to have my headset on. I'm going to be looking at my tablet, and I'm not going to pay attention to anything. But it wasn't yesterday, or it wasn't today, and it wasn't last week. Riding with him is very difficult for me because of the sudden movements.
We put quite a few miles on the car this week.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go, I don't know, I had to leave my house here in Spring, North Houston. I went all the way to Huntsville just to find some gas for my generator.
Oh, God.
That was Sunday. I mean, we were storm chasing. We almost caught the hurricane again, trying to head north.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was Tuesday. We went all the way to Madisonville, which is about a third of the way to Dallas, to find gas.
Wow. No kidding. It seems to me, and this may just be too easy to figure out for the people in charge, but why would they know a hurricane's coming? Why don't they prepare and have some on back, like stored back or something? Or is that even possible for them to store back gallons of gas or tanks of gas?
The problem
because they know people are going to need it for generators, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
The problem is none of the gas stations had electric. They were all without power.
Oh, well, they couldn't even pump it up.
So you couldn't pump it.
Well, that makes sense.
And my little generator, I mean, I didn't have to have the gas.
Mm-hmm.
My little generator only burns about 4 gallons every 24 hours. It's very, very efficient.
Yeah.
So if I'm sitting on, 15 gallons of gas, that'd take me quite a few days. But as I emptied a tank, I made sure I had it in the car in case I ran across the place to get some. But
That
we
makes
we
good
were
sense.
mostly looking for a place to eat, someplace
Right.
cool.
So did you lose a lot of food in the freezer?
No, my generator it keeps the koi pond running.
Oh,
It
good,
keeps 2 refrigerators and 1 deep freeze.
good,
It'll
good,
run.
good. I think we just
And-
talked
and-
about this not long ago.
And I've
How
got
your
a
generator
small
kept food
I've got a
cold.
small air conditioner little roll around air conditioner for the bedroom. And at night I'll unplug the refrigerators and plug that in and let that run 6-7 hours at night. And I mean,
At least that way you can sleep.
refrigerators will go 14, 16 hours as
Oh,
long
yeah.
as you don't open them.
Right.
So the generator did very well. It did what I expected it to do.
And how many watts is that generator?
It's rated at 2,000, but I think it runs on full blast. I think it runs about 18,
Okay.
and on economy mode, I think it'll drop all the way down to like 12.
Okay.
But when the deep freeze tries to kick on, the economy mode can't pull it.
Right.
So I ran it max full blown from Sunday evening about must have been about 8:30. I turned it on, and I didn't shut it off till last night. It ran non-stop.
Good little
And like I said,
generator.
it was burning about 4 gallons every 24 hours. My neighbor
Yeah.
had a bigger unit, and he was going through 6 gallons about every 8 hours.
Jeez, that's crazy. Hey,
Told him,
I'll
I
be
said,
right
you need
back.
to go in survival
Entertaining with
mode.
2
Don't-
people
don't-
left.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Vicky
I'll
said
be right
something.
back.
All right.
Ivy, don't you sit there and make it go.
Well, I'm looking at 2 watching. Is there anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat? Because if 2's watching, that's me and Charlotte. We could do all this on a phone call.
Sorry about that, Grumpus.
No problem.
Had to make a pit stop.
Yeah, Vicky said something yesterday. She said, well, we spend an awful lot of gas or awful lot of money, going out to eat and stuff. I said, no. I said, we spent a lot of money to find some AC. That food was free.
Honest. Good grief. I can't even imagine. I mean, I've been there. I've had to be without power and all that. But,
Oh, yeah.
once it's over, you're so relieved. You just hope it never happens again. And,
Oh, yeah. I
and you kind of forget about it.
I was ready for it. I had about 20 gallons of gas here. And I keep all my extension cords and 3-ways, all that kind of stuff. I got one big duffel bag, all that stuff's in it. So I've got a grab bag. I can have that generator up and running in 10 minutes.
Oh, good. Hey, Tom, how are you doing tonight?
There we go.
He said, I'm glad you're up and running. Grumpus.
I am running. So yeah, we've gone through it before. You just have, but it's still very stressful.
Oh, yeah. Definitely
sitting
stressful.
Even if I'm sitting on 5 days worth of gasoline, you still got that
Right.
little stress in the back of your mind. What if we're without power
What if
6
I run
days?
out?
Yeah.
Right. And see, we didn't, during the last hurricane, during Zeta, we didn't have a generator. And we were just very lucky that it was in late October. And as soon as that hurricane went through, the humidity dropped, the temperature dropped,
Yeah,
and it
for
was
a couple of
really
days.
nice outside
For
for
a
3 of
couple of
those
days,
4
yeah.
days. Yeah. And,
Now- See, we went through Ike. When Ike blew through, We were 7 days without power, and I didn't have a generator. So I had a neighbor on both sides that had generators, and they threw cords over the fence for me so I could keep my refrigerators up and my koi pond running.
Oh, that was nice.
And then I would just
Nice.
give them gas in trade.
Oh, and sometimes I think that a whole house generator would be a good investment in this area, and of course in Houston, areas like that. But then again, I think to myself, they cost a lot of money. Let's say they cost
yeah.
$8,000. Am I going to get $8,000 worth out of that generator before I croak? Probably not.
That's what I've been looking at. 'Cause that subject has come up at the house, and I told her, I said, look, you spend, $8,000 to $10,000 on a whole house generator. You need the automatic transfer switch. That's going to run you another $1,000 probably. Get it all wired
And
up.
the installation, just the installation. I don't know how much the installation is.
I can lose a lot of food. I don't want to, but I can buy a lot of food for that kind of money.
For that $8,000.
And then I told her, I
$10,000,
says, and then there's
$12,000.
to me, there's the psychological. I'll give you a shirt off my back if I've got it to give. It'd be hard for me to sit there with the whole house running and knowing my neighbors were suffering.
Knowing the neighbor was heating to death.
So I'd have extension cords thrown to both sides of the fence and probably across the street, and I'd still be unplugging a refrigerator to keep an AC unit running.
Right.
So
right.
I might as well stick with what I know and stick with what I got.
That's
Tom.
true. And it might behoove you next time around, if you think about it, grab another one of those 2,000-watt Honda generators.
Well, that's a consideration. If I get a second one, see, those have
Because you can do anything.
They're
at
called
that point.
they're called inverters. They don't really call them generators. They're called inverters.
Okay.
And Honda makes a link that you can plug both of them in together. So you can run, instead of running one full blast, I could run or I could run both of them in economy mode. And when that deep freeze compressor kicks in, it'll pull from both generators. And that'll be enough to keep everything running.
Okay. So
'Cause
it'll spike up,
It's that
go
jolt.
back down.
It's that jolt that they have to be able to overcome.
Right. That might be a good investment
So,
right there.
That'd put me at 8 gallons every 24 hours, but it'd probably be less
Said
than
you
that if
left
I'm not
Florida
running full
because there were
blast.
too many hurricanes.
Yeah.
That was just a bad year, Tom. I really believe that. Was that the same year that Charlie or whatever went through, and then it was like 3 or 4 in a row, 5 in a row? If you flood, it's not worth it. That is sage advice right there. I would not live in a hurricane zone if I was in a flood zone as well.
Well, if it floods here, it's biblical proportions because I'm at a pretty high spot.
That's the way we are here.
I got water around me, but when it rains at my house, the water runs both directions from my driveway.
Away from your driveway or
Yeah.
your house. Now, I do get a bit of a lake in my backyard, like during Zeta. It was pretty, 6 inches deep in the backyard, but it doesn't come up to the house. The house is built
Yeah.
up a little bit higher, and it never gets within 20 feet of the back, So it would, even during Katrina, this house did not flood.
I've only
And that was a
seen water.
30-foot storm surge.
I've only seen water come up over the curbs at the end of the block once in 42 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Tom, you know what? Do you want to come up and hang out with us? I will send you. How do I do this? Dang it, I forgot.
Yeah, I'm showing 2 watching, so that must be me and Tom and
Oh,
you.
it's not me. It might be me. I don't know. StreamYard. Tom, I'll get you a link. There. I don't know. I don't know if he's still here. He might have thought we were ignoring him. I hope not. There's a link, Tom, if you're interested. Well, I'm glad you didn't take too much of a hit.
No, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. I
Could
mean,
have
I
been a
know
hell
it's
of a lot worse.
aggravation.
I could have been
here,
that house next to me that had the tree fall on it. See, when I was in my backyard and looked across, it almost hit the neighbor's back fence.
Oh.
And I looked over and I told Vicky, I said, look, the whole top of that tree fell out. Well, it did. It was the top of the tree from the front yard. Looky here.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Oh, that's a really nice picture you got on there today.
That is.
Is that a new
I
camera?
No, I took my green screen down.
Oh.
Yeah. Because now you can, if you want, put anything up for a green screen, it just goes up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have no. In fact, it looks better sometimes if you do that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
let's see here.
Well, it looks really nice. Please don't look at my mess behind me, y'all.
It comes
I
up
know it's
much.
a mess.
This comes up much better than
Oh yeah.
than the green screen. So anyway,
Yeah, I think so.
Robert, you made it all right.
I lived. I survived to tell the stories.
Here's my take on it. Okay, now out here we're having heat like I never thought it was. I never thought you could live through this. There's one part. I'm not that far. I'm a couple hours out of Death Valley. There was one part that was 128 degrees. I could
Oh
slow
my
cook
God.
something at 128 degrees. You
Oh,
know what
yeah.
I mean? I could sous vide something. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that doesn't bother me. I mean, I can get in the car and head north, whatever, or to get away. Okay. I got not that many things scare me. Okay, to the point. But damn hurricanes. You were right. That one year we had 5, 6 in a row.
Yeah, I remember that. My dad, Wilma was one of
Oh,
them.
there was a whole
I think.
shitload of them that came through. There
Yeah.
was this one guy would come knock on the door. He worked for the sheriff's department, and said, "You got to evacuate." I said, "To where?"
No kidding.
I mean, we're in the Gulf Coast. Okay, where am I going to go? To Mississippi? I'm going to go Georgia. The last time we evacuated, I drove back to North. We had just moved to Florida from North Carolina. My daughter said, "Dad, why don't you just stop and get in the car, come back up?" The hurricane followed us.
Oh God. Kira,
Oh, yeah.
hi, it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a
I
while.
feel like I was tied up to him. Anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it scared me because I know when I moved, especially from Tarpon up to Hudson, I got closer to the water.
Mm-hmm.
And the floods. I mean, just forget about it. And here's the thing. Not to make fun of anybody that preps or anything else like that, but what happens if you get total destruction? How do you find your stuff? If you get flooded, what happens to that? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Well, I know here, Tom, if it's going to be,
Am I echoing?
Nope.
is what?
Am I echoing?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay.
Wesley and I made a deal a long time ago that if it was going to be over a Category 1 hurricane, we're leaving. And the only reason we stayed for the last hurricane that was it was 1 mile an hour away from a Category 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we stayed thinking it was going to be a Category 1, and it strengthened before it hit us.
Yeah.
And it was an unexpected strengthening.
Yeah.
I never would have stayed and put my kids through that if I'd have known that it was going to. So now the new rule is if there's a hurricane, we're leaving. I'm not playing with that. I don't like it. I can't stand hearing the things hit the house. To me,
Yeah, I
that's
had a-
scarier than any wind or rain.
I had a cover over my gas grill. I still don't know where it's at.
Oh no! Oh no!
Now,
So
now on top of it, okay, when I lived in North Carolina, okay, they had tornadoes come through.
Oh yeah!
No, I mean 300 feet from my house.
Oh dear God! Now, was that
Okay.
the spawn of the hurricanes, or was that just
Not from
tornadoes
the
from other storms?
just out of the blue.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
well,
I'm-
see,
I'm-
I'm from Indianapolis. Now we and up there you regularly had tornadoes.
Yeah,
Southern part of Indiana hit every single year. I mean, it was on the news all the time. I
my
talked to
mother-in-law lives in Richmond,
I
and
talked to a lumber
Charlotte, you're-
supplier this week.
You're
and they-
echoing.
am I?
Yeah.
I talked to a lumber supplier this week, and he's in Oklahoma talking about the tornadoes. And I said, well, I left that to come down here and get away from them. I said, now the only difference is I get a warning.
Yes, that's true.
The same damn wind.
I watch.
It's Ivy. Yeah, hello, Ivy. He's so evil, you would not believe it. He's a bad, bad little girl
Well,
who missed her mommy.
I got mine right here.
Look at it.
She was snoring a minute ago.
I think that's my cat by proxy.
Yeah, she keeps looking for you. She keeps asking about you.
She was. She missed me, huh?
So, Grumpus, this week I started with OBS making different camera angles and stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
But
I didn't know how to pause because I was recording everything.
Okay.
So when I did figure out how to do it, I paused it. One camera wouldn't come back on.
Well, all of my cameras seem to be working tonight, but this is the first time in several streams that I've not had a couple of out.
Yeah, I mean.
So it's random. It's the USB stuff.
Okay. So Marie says to me, she said, I hope that you're not putting that up because the language you use is ridiculous.
I mean, I was shocked tonight. Everything came up because didn't turn the computer on until tonight.
look,
So that one's working. That one seems to be working. That one seems to be working. Now the other night I only had two that would work.
guys, I've had technical issues the past 2 times that I've gone live with seems like it's just been one bug after the next. And I'm not so great at figuring these things out.
Well, I thought I was pretty good, but apparently I'm not. Because I still cannot get this sound. The problem is this thing has its USB out. All the mics and everything's plugged into this. So it sends USB out to the computer. You guys are coming in through the computer. So the computer puts it back into the box, into my headphones. So I've got USB going both ways. And I can't figure out how to get that separated so we're not looping and echoing. And
Right.
I mean, this microphone should be working at about 30 decibels. I've got it at 60 right now. And you guys said you can just hear it.
Yeah,
So,
you're crystal clear on my end.
Am I loud enough?
Yes,
yeah,
you are
yeah.
now.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to crank it that high.
No, you shouldn't. You're right.
Charlotte, do you have your YouTube on?
I've got it. The volume is completely off. And wait a minute. Let me make sure.
I say I don't hear an echo from Charlotte.
Yeah, I do.
You don't?
Tom, did you hear the echo before you put your headphones on?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I put them on, because I shut my speakers off. But
Here, you bad little beast.
Are you running through OBS right now, Tom?
no.
Okay.
How's that? Oh,
No, it's still the same. Charlotte's the only one, but when I talk, I can hear a back.
when I talk, I can hear it too,
Yeah.
and I don't know. How's that?
No, same.
And I turned everything off.
See, I'm not hearing the echo.
I shared off YouTube. I don't know if it's me or not. I mean, I had I started a podcast,
Oh yeah.
so I uploaded a podcast. That's when I was running into problems.
Mm-hmm.
And was trying to record it, trying to do the whole thing, and it just, I mean, probably 4 hours of just son of a.
I thought that I was a little excitable until I met Tom.
No. I go through it too.
Do you really?
I have cussed this damn mixer. You piece of expensive
That
crap.
makes me feel so much better, Grumpus. Look what Wesley bought me when we were on vacation. Okay, look, I told y'all you're on a ladies channel, so you're gonna get some lady stuff. Okay, look how beautiful that is. This is a case for all of my utensils that I use to crochet with, and holds my scissors. Well, they're there somewhere.
Thank God you're not a medical in the medical
I
field.
know.
I would get an Afghan for stitches.
You would.
One pearl too.
And he also bought me. This is so sweet of him because this is the first time he's ever. Oh, here it is. First time he has ever done it. We lost Grumpus. Grumpus, are you on the lamb? He done left me because he don't want to see my stuff. That's what it is.
Oh.
But you know what? I think what I'm going to do against Grumpus's good advice, I'm going to make myself a crochet channel so I can just talk to people who are interested in crocheting and I don't muck up this channel with it.
Well, you know what? I got to tell you something. There is quite a few that I not that I follow or anything like that, but there are a lot of people. There's one channel. You might even know her. I can't think of her name right now.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, that is nice. What is it? Debbie said what? Or Debbie does what? Or some, maybe, I'm not sure if her name is Debbie or not. But that's what she did. But she goes on live sometimes during the day. And there's 10 people sitting around there crocheting.
Yeah.
I said, well, how cool is that? You know?
Well, and I'll tell you another thing that people are really interested in, people in the yarn arts, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yarn hauls.
Yes.
And Tom, I do a yarn haul about every 2.6 days.
Really?
I always buy yarn. I'm always buying yarn and doing something with it. And see this one? Isn't that beautiful? Look at that.
Well, they really are nice.
He got me these actually, believe it or not, are very expensive crochet hooks. They cost about, on the regular, okay, between $22 and $26 a piece.
Really?
Well, he got them on sale for half priced. Plus, this one I'm about to show you was $7.50. Yeah, there he is. Add to the stage.
See there,
Boy, you
talk.
got out of that, didn't you? You
I
think you
trash
did.
talked my equipment and it froze up on me.
And there's my ebony one. This is an ebony crochet hook. Is that
Was that
not
a back
gorgeous?
scratcher?
It could be. It could be, and it's very efficient too.
Now Grumpus, you come up. Now you just come up and I'm hearing an echo again.
You're hearing an echo from me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we didn't hear it before.
Well, all I did was restored everything that was there. So you're hearing an echo now.
One, 2. Yeah, I'm
Well,
hearing it.
let me check something here.
So did you hear what I said, Grumpus? Oh, never mind. You didn't. Let's see. Was it the black one?
Yeah, because I muted my mic and
Yeah, so I got three $25 hooks for $32.50. That's what Papa paid for.
nice.
And I thought it was a really great deal. And these are wonderful tools. Wonderful.
See you in
Am
the
I
chat
echoing
right
now?
now?
Am
Yeah,
I
I
echoing
am.
now?
Becca,
Yeah.
hi.
We're echoing. You're not.
That's
I'm not
right.
echoing.
You're not
No.
echoing at all.
Because I just muted myself.
And to me, nobody is echoing.
Yeah. Do you have, obviously, do you have YouTube shut off?
On me,
Yeah.
I've got the volume off.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
But I closed out all of my tabs. The only thing that's on is this. That's it.
So just mute your mic for a minute, Rumpus. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, see?
Is it better?
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
Yep,
Okay.
I can. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's you.
It's me?
Yes, sir.
Damn.
You Grumpy.
Man, I wanted to be Charlotte so bad.
I
You
was-
did. I knew
I
you
was hoping it was me so you can see the crochet hooks.
because
Damn.
that's the thing. I'm the butt of all the jokes.
Ah.
Rebecca right there, she is a knitting lady.
She's
there.
a yarnaholic too, just like me.
Yes, she is.
Oh my. Did I show off my scarf? I think I did. This is my scarf I made.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, nice colors.
It's a wrap.
There it is.
It could be a scarf or a wrap, but it's only like 60 inches long
Right.
because I'm only 5 feet tall. So I didn't need a big one.
Grumpus, whatever you did over there on when you were looking at the other side, okay, it went away. And then
I don't-
now that you're
So when you
muted,
talk, Grumpus,
now when you put it back on again, you get the echo.
You getting the echo now?
Yeah,
oh,
like a delay, like in a ballpark.
okay. Remember I showed you the blanket I made for the baby?
Mm-hmm.
I think I showed y'all this last weekend.
Yep.
Lacy thing. Well, while I was on my vacation, I bought some red Christmas yarn because I'm having a Christmas grandbaby.
Yep.
And I'm making a star blanket out of all of this red.
Nice.
And what I'm going to do is there's going to be pom-poms all along the border, and they're going to be in white chenille so
I've
that they're
never-
fluffy,
Oh,
like
okay.
Santa hats.
I was going to say because I have no clue.
I'm super, super excited about this project. But I bought so much yarn while I was on vacation that I felt guilty for not bringing back souvenirs for everybody,
Yeah, I know.
except for my grandson. I brought back a souvenir for Oliver, my 4-year-old grandson. He loves dinosaurs. Well, I was Poppy when he was working last week. He well, apparently I didn't know this, but the sole had been coming off of his work boots, and
Mhm.
he was gluing them with some kind of weird glue.
That's right.
Well, one day last week, he got it caught on some piece of metal that he was working he was in a cop car, and he made himself into a pretzel to get underneath the dash and all this.
Right.
Well, as he was coming out, it got caught on something and pulled the whole sole right off the boot.
Oh,
So the boss come along and said, "You having a problem there?" He says, "Yeah, I just ruined my boot." Guy says, "Hey, don't worry about it. Just go down and get you some new boots and put it on the company credit card."
Nice.
So that was a godsend, really.
I would have come back with a car and said, "Oh, I thought you said a coupe."
But you know, that was really a blessing in there, really, because I didn't want to spend $180 on a pair of work boots.
Charlotte, you can't. You don't have no. I mean, I have no idea of prices anymore of things
Mm-hmm.
because it just things just went nuts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could see $40, $50.
Well, I'll tell you this: the last time we bought him work boots was about 5 years ago, and we went to the Red Wing store. It was an outlet store,
Okay.
and we got 2 pairs for $135.
Yeah. See stuff like that. I don't mind.
We bought these boots at the only boot store we could find in Brooksville, and it was a Western boot store. But they
Okay.
had steel-toed boots,
Mhm.
and they're a little fancier than your regular work boot, but they were $185, and I nearly choked when they told us how much it was. However, when we were there shopping for these boots, I found a pair of boots for Oliver that were green at the top, green leather, and brown square-toed regular boots on the bottom.
Yeah, cool.
And I thought, oh my God, Oliver will love these if I tell him they're dinosaur boots,
Huh?
because they're green. And they've got a zipper on the inside so he can get them on and off easy.
Yeah.
And so I had to get them for him. And I paid way too much money for them. Those were $45 for a 4-year-old's boots. So I bought him a size too big so he can get a whole bunch of use out of it.
Yeah. I had to go to my doctor Friday.
Yeah.
Yesterday. For checkup. Had blood work
Right.
done. And there was because when I go to Quest, I get my blood work like the next day from them.
Mhm.
Then I wait, for the appointment to go see them. And there was a couple things in the red that so we went in there, and she knows I'm doing keto and carnivore, whatever. And we locked horns.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we locked horns pretty good. There was an article I read not too long ago with that physician's assistants and right down the line until nurses that are licensed to do medical under a doctor's care.
Right.
Well, this one's a physician's assistant. Nice woman, nice younger woman,
Mhm.
and she's your cholesterol's a little high. I said that's bullshit.
Right.
And she said, "Well, what do you mean?" And this and that. And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Not to be a Weisenheim or anything like that, but you please tell me anybody that you know or in the country or around the world died from high cholesterol." That's on their thing, high cholesterol,
Right.
and it started from there. So, but the bottom line was, I'm off the pills. I still got to take a couple of them. And I said, "You just don't like my keto channel." I said, "Matter of fact, you didn't subscribe, did you?" "Oh, stop it." She started. But my main quest was for them. I said, "You're telling me I'm type 2 diabetic, right?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "You're telling me that my A1C is high, my blood sugar's high? What's my insulin count?"
Right.
"Oh, we don't do that." "Why?" I said, that's like telling somebody, you know what, because you have a family history of heart disease, we're going to do open heart surgery on you just to make sure. I said, that's what you're telling me.
Right.
So she said, okay. So they ordered it. So next time I go for my blood work, they're going to do it. I insisted on it.
For an insulin count.
Yeah, insulin test.
I'll be darned. I didn't even know that was possible.
You know what she said to me? Here's what she said to me. And I said, yeah, not to win big about this too much, but I said, here's the problem. I said, you're turning around and telling me, okay, that you want to put me on insulin because my blood sugar is too high. Am I insulin resistant or what's the deal? So
Well, I didn't think that insulin worked for someone who is insulin resistant.
bingo. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. If you're insulin resistant, insulin's not going to help you.
Not at all.
Your diet is what's going to help you, or maybe something like metformin, or
Yeah. Well,
one
that's
of
what I'm
those
taking.
pills that they.
I take metformin, and
Yeah.
who was
My son's popping popcorn. If y'all hear anything, he's being extremely rude and disrespectful to his mother, and I think that you should go to bed without popcorn.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
Am I echoing?
Yep. There's a delay.
I didn't hear. I didn't hear. I'm sorry.
Somebody sent me a message saying, I don't know, and I don't know who it is. And please let Gulf Coast Granny know I am just listening. I don't know.
What was that?
Somebody sent me a message just now, and just a phone number, and I don't know who it is.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. All right. I'll let her know.
Thanks.
Let's see if he's. Yeah. So it was, but everything else looks good. Everything is going good.
Good.
I'm hanging in there pretty tight with it. So
Yeah.
I said, listen, I'm going to be 70 years old. I don't need any more bull crap
Yeah.
about pills and all this stuff like that. I'm on the short end of the stick, not in the beginning of the stick. So
Yeah, but Tom, you want to stick on this. You want to stay on the stick as long as you possibly can.
oh, without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to succumb to. I've been down this road before. You know what I mean?
I know you do.
I jumped through the hoops and everything else like that. So right away, I said, second of all, I said, I'm keeping you in this room a half hour. You're not going to give me 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to chat. Like she did. She stayed.
We're going to have a talk.
Yeah. So we went through all the baloney, all the, what they want me to do and how, because my primary doctor left. He went to another place. So I got another doctor. I never met him yet, but I'm dealing with her as the PA. Very efficient, really good, but just.
Sometimes nurse practitioners and PAs are actually, in my opinion, they have a better ear and a better bedside manner than a doctor would.
Yeah, a little bit more concerned.
And they listen better,
So,
but I do agree with you. The medical profession, number one, these doctors don't get trained in nutrition. They don't have any interest in nutrition or being a nutritionist or anything for a diabetic diet. All they know is what they've been, they regurgitate information that they've been told.
Yeah.
And all of that information, in fact, Tom, I want to call her a young lady. She's 40 years old, and lady is a stretch. Okay. She's a morbidly obese woman who has been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. She probably is in the middle. She's well on her way to some kidney failure.
Yep.
She is well on her way to atherosclerotic arteries. And she refuses to change her lifestyle. She continues to eat platefuls. When she eats, she does not eat on a plate. She eats on a serving platter or a pie plate. And it is full of rice or mashed potatoes or pot pies or the carbs that this woman ingests in a day would put me back in the hospital with a heart attack in about 4.2 days.
Yeah. That's that part of it right there is what started this. It wasn't an argument, but I just wouldn't let her get her piece in without me saying something about it. I want to let her know that I know what the hell's going on with me.
Well, and you've been, like you said, you've been down this road. You've seen the results with your own eyes from your own blood tests, and you've watched your numbers drop.
Yeah. She said, your HDL, your good cholesterol is low. I said, what's the
Mine
number?
too. You
No,
must
what's the
have
number?
some kind of metabolic disorder. That's what I have. I have a metabolic disorder.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So the limit, the threshold is 40.
Right.
So she's telling me my HDL is very low. You know what
Mine
it is?
was less than 10.
No, mine was 39.
What?
Yeah.
That's not very low.
And my cholesterol, she said, well, it's supposed to be 200, okay?
Okay.
And my cholesterol was 215.
Tom, you're well on your way.
I mean, so I said to her, I said, she said to me, she said, well, we're worried about cholesterol and heart disease. I
Right.
said, do I have sclerosis? Do I have heart in the arteries or anything like that? Well, no. I said, so how and why am I on my way? And then we got into it from there. But at the end of the visit, she put the computer down and she said, and then you get the printout of exactly what was talked about.
Right.
Okay. And it said that Mr. Garvey is well informed about his own health and is working on his own way, and let it go like that.
Good.
Because
Well, and it's I think, Tom, that it's not having a contentious relationship with your healthcare provider might not be a great idea. And maybe taking the parts that sound like they make sense to you away from it is a good idea, because I'm sure there's always something that they could add, as professionals, but you know your body better than they do.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. I said, you keep coming up with this. I said, I'm going to explain to you how I wound up being a type 2 diabetic. I said, I had bladder cancer. All right. And I was getting my treatment. BCG treatment is what they used to use years ago for people with TB, tuberculosis.
Okay.
And it was known they would get tumors in their lungs, and it was known to shrink it. And that's what they would do with this BCG, whatever the name is for it, I forget. But that was the clear and best way to deal with bladder cancer, because there's no other way to get to it. Okay. The process is ugly for a man. Okay.
Yes.
But, and one treatment was 6 weeks long. So every week you went for 6 weeks. Okay. And then you would take 2 weeks off and then go back and do another 6 weeks for the second treatment. So I did it 3 times. So I was well over a year.
Oh, God.
Okay. Doing this. All right. But here's the problem. Nobody says nothing to you because you're stupid. Okay. I have the medical degree. You're a dope. Okay. Come in here. Anyway.
Don't you worry about that. I got this.
Yeah. So the nurse comes in. I guess I was like getting just almost finishing with my third treatment. Okay. Another year down the road. Matter of fact, me and the one nurse became very intimate because of what I had to show her. You know what I mean? We were like a married couple after a while. But she comes in, she says, Mr. Garvey, I have to test your blood sugar. What are you talking about? I never heard of that before. Yeah. She said, this treatment you can wind up having type 2 diabetes from the treatment. Charlotte, you froze.
You got?
Yep.
Okay.
You're frozen. Frozen again. Still frozen.
Still echoing, Tom.
Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep.
Am I still echoing?
Yes, you are.
Damn. Be right back.
We are having technical difficulties. One, two, 1, 2. Close Granny. What the hell's going on here?
And hey, Grumpus, can you hear me? Grumpus, can you hear me? Audio, internal mic, speaker. Okay. Can anybody hear me? Hello? There's one person on here. Grumpus! Dang it. Dang it. Let me see if my audio is right. Speaker. Okay. Default. And hey, Grumpus, are you there? Oh my God. Oh my God. Fine. End stream. Sorry, guys.